Hello everyone, Gamertag here, and today we're back in Pokemon Emerald. This time we tackle Pokemon Emerald with just a single Spinda. Now I'm pretty sure this is possible, since Spinda's not a terrible Pokemon by any means, but it's also a Pokemon that I practically never use. It's incredibly common on the Volcanic Ash route on your way to Falambor Town, but it's just a Pokemon that I feel like is just there. Which is fine. It's actually kind of nice using a forgettable Pokemon. I mean, I kind of did that last time with Shuppet and Fire Red, and hey, Spinda is much better than Shuppet, so maybe it'll actually do really well. And who knows, maybe it'll do better than I expect it to do. I will say though, I almost didn't think I'd get this video out. We had some problems where right at the champion fight, OBS decided to glitch out and almost corrupt my entire recording, which was problematic. The good news is I was able to get that back, and now we can show all of the important footage for this whole video. It's good because I didn't want it to turn into the Beedrill video where we're missing the champion fight and one of the gyms, but we have everything we need. And some added things. But hey, how do you think Spinda's gonna do? Are we gonna be able to beat Steven? I mean, I definitely think we can beat Wallace, but Steven's a different story. Sure, we get some decent moves to work with, but I don't know. So, this is what I said how Spinda's interesting. We're 60 base in everything. No advantages at all. I mean, our move pool's decent. I kind of wish we had something a little bit better than Shockwave, but it's not bad. We get a Lax Nature, which means more defense and less special defense, which isn't great, but we get Calm Mind, we can help the special defense. We have Own Tempo for the ability, so we can't get confused. Oh yeah, shout out to Zirkle for the Spinda suggestion. It's kind of fun using a Pokemon I don't usually use. I mean, hey though, maybe we'll actually do better in the fighting gym than I expect. I mean, sure, we're weak to fighting, but at least we get Psybeam. I wonder if the AI is gonna fall for Own Tempo. I mean, they already fell for Insomnia with Spinda. Not Spinda, Shuppet. So, I mean, hey, maybe it'll actually work. As you can expect, though, early game we're just fighting a bunch of trainers. The first gym is Roxanne, who has rock types, and, well, Uproar and Tackle obviously aren't going to do the trick. I mean, we get Feint Attack pretty early, but we don't hit incredibly hard. We got a terrible IV in Special Attack, which is, what, maybe 4 out of 31? So that doesn't bode well for us, and while we get Calm Mind, we don't get Calm Mind until the 7th gym, which is the usually difficult Psychic gym. I mean, maybe it'll go better than I expect since we get Shadow Ball, but I could very well be wrong. And I'm not really familiar with how Spinda works, and our coverage is pretty decent. Now we do get stuff like Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch, but that's post-game and we need battle points for that, which means it's probably not going to happen. But hey, let's see how Roxanne goes. Now we're level 13. Now I know I'm not going to win this fight, but more importantly, I just want to see where we're at. It's kind of one of those, I know I'm not going to win this fight, but it'll at least give me an idea of how many more levels I possibly need. Although it might be less levels than I expect, since sometimes the AI just throws the fight. I mean, we got through a Geodude, but that was with sheer luck, only to get crit by a Rock Tomb and taken out. So I decided to come back at level 15, and the first 2 Geodudes are both a one-shot. Or, well, 2-shot, but Rock Tomb isn't doing that much. It does lower our speed, which is depressing. Nose Pass comes out, hits another Rock Tomb to lower our speed a second stage, and now she outspeeds. Thankfully though, she just goes for Harden and Block as we heal up with an Oranberry. Thanks to her totally forgetting that Rock Tomb exists, and just spamming Tackle the entire time, we end up eventually whittling her down and getting the win. If you would have told me we would have beat Roxanne at level 15, I would have said there was no way. But the fact that she just threw the fight and only went for Tackle most of the time just baffles me. If she would have used Rock Tomb even one more time, she would have won. I mean, I'll take it though. Before we can go to Dewford though, we have the May fight in Rustboro City. In Ruby and Sapphire, this fight does not exist. It's just an added fight in Emerald. I don't really think it's necessary to even exist in this game, but it's a really easy fight and practically impossible to lose. Cool. Alright, well, we have Psybeam now. Can we first try Brawly too? Alright, so Psybeam does big damage to Machop. He just goes for bulk up, heals up with a super potion. We just keep spamming Psybeam until he goes down. Next out is Metatite, who just won't do anything. In fact, all it will do is go for Focus Punch, which so long as we hit, he does absolutely nothing. Guess what he used the entire time? I don't know why that's his go-to, but dude, it's not helping you out. We end up winning on our first try and don't even take any damage, because we confuse Makuhita, he hits himself, and the Citrus Berry doesn't help him survive Psybeam. Nice. Kinda not the fight I expected to first try, but I'm not gonna complain. Alright, May fight before Mauville City, and we actually have a pretty easy time. Usually this fight is difficult, but thanks to Combusken not even using double kick, we hardly take any damage as we have a very easy win. Alright, well, I was hoping that she'd make it interesting, but I'll take it. I have a feeling that Watson's not gonna be a first try though. Our streak is likely ending at 3. We're nowhere near ready. And it's really the Magneton, so we can't get a single move that Magneton doesn't resist. Considering that Dig and Brick Break aren't obtainable until either the last city in the game, which is Brick Break, or needing to get to Falibor, which we need a Rock Smash for Dig, I have a feeling like we might be stuck here for quite some time. But hey, you know, maybe we'll get lucky. I mean, after all, it is spin to win. It's like playing the lottery here, you know? Maybe we'll somehow get really good luck. But we could also get really bad luck. I mean, who really knows? Dizzy Punch can confuse, though. Maybe we'll get lucky and confuse Magneton and he'll hit himself enough for us to somehow get away with a fluke victory. I mean, what's the worst that can happen is that we're nowhere near ready and we have to grind for ages until we win. Which I feel like is likely the scenario, but who knows? Alright, so we're at level 31. Voltorb is a one-shot with Dizzy Punch. Electrike, I decided to go for Psybeam because of Static. And we're gonna inevitably get paralyzed anyway, because he just loves Thunder Wave. And look at that, we're paralyzed. But I also tried Hypnosis to see what would happen, and it missed. We end up getting him to fall asleep with Hypnosis, start spamming Dizzy Punch and Psybeam, he wakes up, hits himself in confusion, and then he hits himself again, so we end up taking him out with Psybeam. I don't even know how we're getting this lucky, but I'll take it. Alright, Manectric comes out as we hit Dizzy Punch, taking out half his health. He recovers with a Citrus Berry as he goes for another Howl. He hits Shockwave, we get paralyzed, he attacks again, but we get through and take out Manectric for a surprising first try victory against Watson. I don't even know how we got that, but I will gladly take it. Alright, next up is Maxie and Mount Chimney. So we end up confusing Mighty Anna thanks to Secret Power. Land on a nice amount of health as we take him out with Secret Power. It's honestly going to be good until we get Return. It's the same power as Dizzy Punch, but it has some nice effects, so I'll take it. Camerupt comes out, and we just crit Secret Power for the one-shot. Alright, well, that would have definitely been a two-shot, but he wouldn't have knocked us out anyway, so I'll take it. Alright, let's see how Flannery goes. I'm really worried. So I grinded all the way up to 41 for this fight, because that Torkoal is going to be a monster. Numel and Slugma are both one-shots with Secret Power. Camerupt hits Overheat, taking us to 68 health as we take it out with Secret Power. Torkoal comes out, we put it to sleep, and then we three-shot it with Secret Power while it just never woke up. I could not even tell you how we got lucky enough to win that. I just went for Hypnosis, figuring it was our last shot. I didn't think it'd actually be what won us the fight. For sure she was either going to use a Hyper Potion or just wake up. Nice. Alright, let's go take care of dear old Dad at the Petalburg gym. So his Spinda is a one-shot. Now I went for Psybeam on Slacking because it likes to go for counter. End up confusing it. We go for return. He heals up with a Citrus Berry. We hit Psybeam again as counter backfires. We end up hitting return. He uses a Hyper Potion. We go for Psybeam, then go for Psybeam again. Another Psybeam crits as he hits himself in confusion, and then we take it out with return. Vigoroth is out next as we return. He hits Slash. He uses a Hyper Potion. We Psybeam and then finish him off with return. Man, I forgot how much I missed stab return. This is amazing. Linoon's out last, and we just one-shot with return for another first try victory. Okay, if we somehow first try every single gym in this game, I mean, we have the Psychic Gym, it's probably not happening, but just if we somehow do that, I don't even know what, like, that'd be the most insane run-through of gyms I've ever had. Alright, another May fight before Fortree City, and she just tries to waste time with Protect. She does absolutely nothing because Pelipper's attack is just worthless, but she apparently can't even use a water move despite the fact that it's raining. I really don't understand. Combustion's a one-shot with a critical return that might not have mattered. Lombre comes out, hits Fake Out, outspeeds us, but doesn't have a water move, and Absorb does nothing, so we one-shot with return. Alright, well, May is about as useless as a wet paper bag, so I can't say I'm surprised. Alright, Flying Gym time against Winnona. So I finally decided to teach Shockwave, and I actually had to reset because I forgot to teach Shockwave, but it's a fairly easy time. Most of her team isn't a one-shot. I mean, okay, Pelipper obviously is, because it's 4 times weak to Electric, but what I was mainly worried about was Altaria. And kinda Skarmory, but she didn't go for Sand Attack, so we end up getting a really easy win. And despite her Dragon Dance, Earthquake hardly does anything, so we take her out with ease. Nice! 6 gyms down on the first try. This is still crazy to me. Okay, but what are the chances we first try the Psychic Gym? I mean, we'll get Shadow Ball, but still, what are the chances? Last May fight, and while this one isn't a requirement, we're gonna need some levels for the Psychic Gym anyway, and I kinda wanna do some shopping. Not actually do some shopping, it's just an excuse to beat up May again. She's incredibly weak, and it still amazes me how she never fully evolved her starter. Like, at least give her a fully evolved starter. Like, it is amazing to me how she can't just fully evolve it. I feel like it's a necessity for the rival, and it always happens at some point. But before we can go any further, we have to point and laugh at Archie for taking the wrong orb. Maxie did the same thing. Like, come on, guys. Read up on your history. It's not hard. I also thought they took the correct one in Pokemon Ruby, because in Ruby they take the wrong one. I thought, oh, they get it right. No, they're still incredibly dumb. Hey, how dumb will Maxie be, though? So we Shockwave, he goes for Scary Face, and then he uses Swagger. That's right. We have own tempo, and they fell for the blunder. Which means we get an instant +1 in attack, offsetting his Intimidate, and now we can just mow through his whole team with return. Amazing tech play, Maxie. Absolutely amazing. Alright, Psychic Gym. So we have the Oddish, which, reminder to subscribe if you're enjoying the video. But we have Oddish because we can't just fight it with one Pokemon. And it just gets one shot with Psychic, which is fine. We go for Shadow Ball, which I decided to go for Lunatone since Xatu isn't really much of a threat. They recover with a Citrus Berry. We take him out with Shadow Ball, which is fantastic. Solrock comes out. Xatu hits Psychic. We Shadow Ball and take out Xatu since it has the Calm Mind boost. Solrock just goes for Sunny Day. We go for Shadow Ball. Solar Beam doesn't KO, and we first try the Psychic Gym. Man, Spinda is way stronger than I thought because there is no way I thought this was happening. I mean, it also helps when you take out the common threats first, but still, I thought for sure we stood no chance. So, I wasn't going to show this Maxie fight because it's essentially worthless and useless filler because, really, why is this fight in here? I hate it. But, yet again, they show their amazing smarts by using Swagger. I mean, they did use it on Matang, but they used it on Spinda. Spinda can't be confused. Albeit it was at the very end of the battle, but what are they doing? We had this happen a total of 5 times. 5 times in this entire playthrough, they use swagger, which can't confuse us thanks to own tempo. It just baffles me. I mean, well, okay, not all of them were swagger. One of them was a confuse ray, but still, I don't understand. Like, usually they know what the abilities are. And the people that are doing it are bosses. If anything, they should have the smarts to know that we can't use it. I mean, we even had a failed confuse ray on the Crobat. I just don't understand. And then Sharpedo wastes its turn with taunt. Like, Archie, you might be one of the worst bosses I've ever seen. And I thought Maxie was bad for getting random hobos off the street for his grunts. But dude, Archie, you are even worse. Before we can fight Juan, though, we have to go and send a Rayquaza to tell Kyogre and Groudon to be quiet so that it can get some sleep. This scene is still outstanding. I love this and will probably always have this ranked as one of my favorite scenes in a Pokemon game. Like, the audio when Rayquaza descends is fantastic, and considering this was made in the mid-2000s, it honestly still looks really good. Alright, let's get the last gym out of the way. Luvdisc is a one-shot with Return. Whiscash is going to use a full restore and also use Rain Dance. It's a Hyper Potion, I mean, doesn't really make a difference here, but we end up finishing him off with a Shadow Ball and then a Return. Celio comes out, hits Water Pulse, and that's when I finally realized, oh my god, that's right, we can't be confused. We've only had own tempo for the entirety of this run, and we just can't be confused. So he's basically just using practically what, like a Bubble Beam? That just doesn't have any effects? Anyway, Groudon is a 2-shot, Kingdra is a 2-shot, his double team doesn't cause Return to miss, and we get our final gym as a first try victory. Honestly, that's incredible, and personally I feel like that alone deserves a like on the video, but no pressure. Alright, last fight before the Pokemon League is Wally, who's, as usual, incredibly easy. Has anyone actually found a way to lose to Wally? Like, I'm not gonna say it's terrible if you did, it's just Wally is that terrible. I feel like you'd have to objectively try to actually lose to him. And even then I feel like it'd be a challenge. Hell, we didn't even take a single hit, and the only thing that could have done damage was Gardevoir, who just used Future Sight. Alright, so these are our stats before the Pokemon League. I don't even know if I feel like we can win with these stats. I mean, Stab Return is incredible, I forgot how much I missed it. But I just don't know if we can win with these stats. But hey, what level do you think we're going to need to actually win? I mean, Sidney and Phoebe I don't think will be that bad. Well, Phoebe might be, because she can be trolly. But I don't think we're going to have really any issues with Sidney. But the rest of it, I mean, Drake's probably going to be tough. Drake's usually hard. Let's see how it goes. So first up is Dark Trainer Sidney. Our attack is down thanks to Mighty Anna's Intimidate, as he just hit Sand Attack. I thought we were going to be -1 in attack the entire time until Shiftry just uses Swagger. Man, even the Elite Four must not even know that Own Tempo exists. I can't believe of all people, the Elite Four is just like, here, get your attack back up to +1 so you can destroy my team. I mean, Groudon survives the Shockwave because I just thought it'd live Return anyway. But I also was like, well, we're not going to lose. I just want to see how much Shockwave does. Still a really easy fight. We were never in any danger. We didn't even, I don't think we ever even missed a Return thanks to Sand Attack either. Alright, nice. Let's see how Phoebe goes. How trolly can she be? And she really likes to troll every now and then. Alright, so she just starts to waste time trying to go for Protect. The second one fails, and then we just crit Shadow Ball for the one-shot. Well, I guess that's karma for her being a little too greedy there. Next, Bandit thankfully misses Will-O-Wisp, which would have just been a reset if she hit. If she hits that, Shadow Ball's going to do less since it's somehow physical in this game. Still not exactly sure why it drops special defense if it's physical, but hey. It missed, so we took it out. Sableye, we go for quite a few attacks because she just goes for double team, so we just go for Shockwave. It wasn't really going to do any damage to us anyway. Next Bandit comes out as we go for Shockwave and then Shadow Ball to finish her off. I knew we weren't going to one-shot her anyway, so I kind of figured that I'd just go for a weaker move. Last Dusclops is just a 2-shot, with Shadow Ball as Earthquake does next to nothing. You know, that's a Pokemon I don't use much as Dusclops. Maybe I need to do something with Dusclops. Could be fun. Next up is Ice Trainer Glacia. And we're not ready for this fight. While we can get through the 2 Celio and the first Glalie, no problem, Walrein is just too thick. We don't even do half with Return, and she's just going to be doing way too much damage to us anyway. There's no way we'd be able to recover enough with a Shell Bell, and even if we got her to the point where she uses a full restore or what have you, there's just no way we're making it through. And Shockwave is going to be super effective, but it's obviously not going to do that much. Maybe we teach Calm Mind? I mean, look how much she's doing. I mean, that did like 70 to us. I mean, sure, she froze us. But even then, even if we got her into full restore, it wouldn't have mattered. Alright, so over a dozen tries and 9 levels higher at level 75, despite taking 6 attempts at level 75, we're finally able to get the fight that gets us the win. In case you're wondering why it still took several tries, we got froze 3 more times, crit and froze on one of them, got hit with Explosion twice, which is an automatic one-shot because Explosion halves our defenses in this game, so it's basically 500 power, or she would crit us in some other fashion. At one point we got to Walrein, and then she crit Surf for a one-shot. It's absolutely insane. But also she would hit Icy Wind, and then she would end up outspeeding us, so we didn't have enough health left for Walrein. It's absolutely insane how long this fight took. I'm just so glad it's over, and we still had to survive on only 9 health before we inevitably took out Walrein. Man, that fight was brutal. Our luck just went cold. Cause ice, cold. Alright, let's see how Drake goes. So I did have to do a little bit of leveling up for Drake. Mostly because we just couldn't quite survive on Salamence when it came out. Altaria just goes for Dragon Dance, but it doesn't make any difference because he just goes for a full restore, giving us more health, and then he just goes for Double Edge while we take him out with Shadow Ball. Next out is Flygon. Oh, no, Kingdra's out. I could have swore it was Flygon. But he just goes for Surf. Does decent damage, we take him out with Return. Next out is Flygon. I was just getting a little too ahead of myself. We go for Return, he goes for Earthquake, uses a full restore. This allows us to get some more health back, so I'm fine with that. Shadow Ball takes it out. Last out is Salamence. We go for Return, which is a 3-shot thanks to Intimidate. He goes for Dragon Claw. We hit Return. Thanks to the Shell Bell, we survive on 10 health left. We might have survived anyway. And we end up getting the win, and that finally brings us to Pokemon Champion Wallace. Oh yeah, I accidentally left my rare candy cheat on it for a little too long, so it gave us this invisible bad egg that's basically just there. It doesn't affect anything, it just prevents us from having a whole party. Hilariously, you can deposit it in your PC. So Wallace took a few attempts, mostly because Tentacruel kept going for Toxic, and it took us until this attempt, which is our 5th attempt, for him to finally miss Toxic. One of the attempts he hit a Hydro Pump for huge damage, and we just kind of ran out of time. Ludicolo goes for Double Team. We go for Shockwave while he full restores, and then we take him out with Return on the follow-up. Next up is Whiscash. We go for Return and crit for the one-shot. Next up is Gyarados, which lowers our attack with Intimidate. We go for Shockwave. He survives, goes for Dragon Dance, uses a full restore, and then we just crit Shockwave for the one-shot. I mean, he probably would have just went for Earthquake anyway. Last out is Milotic. He goes for Surf for huge damage off a crit, but we take him out with a Return, getting us the win, and officially putting us into the Hall of Fame. But since it's Pokemon Emerald, and I'm sure this fight's actually winnable this time, we can grind up and attempt the Steven Stone fight in Meteor Falls in the post-game. But before we do that though, we need to make some moveset changes. And you'll see what those are in just a bit here, but I can't believe that Glacia fight was that bad. If we had just crit return on her once, we might have beat her at an earlier level. We probably would have had to grind for Drake anyway. So before Steven Stone, I thought we'd test our luck and play at the slots. If you're wondering how our credits got so high, I think that bad egg thing somehow messed with our coin case, because when I picked it up, we had over the maximum allotment in coins. So much that we bought 2 Ice Beam TMs and a Double Team TM for 9,500 coins and still had 2,700 coins. That's not exactly possible, but still hilarious. Alright, so this took numerous attempts and took us all the way until level 95, and even a few attempts at 95. So we have Water Pulse, mostly because I found out we needed it for Armaldo. As much as I wanted Shockwave, it's okay. Took us several attempts because we had to prevent him from getting Toxic. If he gets Toxic, we just can't win. So we're at +3 from Calm Minds now, as we one-shot Armaldo with Water Pulse. Claydol comes out, we hit Water Pulse, and then he just goes for Reflect, which is best case scenario since that means that we don't take any damage. We hit another Water Pulse, he goes for another full restore as we go for Shadow Ball. This way, Water Pulse is going to be enough to KO, and I'm starting to I thought he was out of full restore, so I should have just done a Water Pulse again, but maybe he's out. Aggron's a one-shot with Water Pulse, thanks to its weak special. Cradily, we go for Brick Break. He goes for Ancient Power, we Brick Break again, as he just goes for Ancient Power. But then he uses a full restore. Okay, so he wasn't out. Okay, well we should have used Water Pulse, it's fine. We go for Brick Break, then he goes for Ancient Power and boosts all of his stats to +1. I didn't think it mattered until he apparently had another full restore in his back pocket, which means it's basically going to be a 4-hit KO. He goes for Ingrain. I thought maybe we could finish him off with Water Pulse, but we end up confusing him. He goes for Ancient Power, and then we finish him off with Water Pulse. Alright, that Ingrain kind of made a little bit of a difference. Metagross comes out, we go for Water Pulse, confuse him as he hits himself. He recovers with a Citrus Berry, we hit Water Pulse, then he hits Meteor Mash, bringing us to only 2 health left before we use Water Pulse and get the win. And that fight was insane. So we survive on just 2 health left, and the time before that, he crit us to take us out with Meteor Mash. Man, at least we finally beat Steven this time. I mean, let's be honest, we weren't beating him with a Lilip and an Anorith. But hey, it's nice to get that win. And it was honestly not even that bad overall. Spinda did an amazing job. Maybe I've just been underestimating it the whole time. I mean, it is underrated. It's actually a quality Pokemon. Its patterns also change based off of your IVs and that, which is really neat. So the next challenge we're going to have might be up in a couple weeks. This one kind of took me a lot more time than I planned to because I had a lot of family stuff going on the week prior. So it might take a few weeks, but in the meantime, I'll just put up a video in between if it's not up. But leave suggestions down below in the comment section or join the Discord link in the description. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. Our next challenge is Generation 5 with Mindfu and Mindshao, which is going to be fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.